Fran, are you finished with work yet?
Yep, I'm finished with work now. What's going on with you, Mom?
How old are you this month?
I'm going to become 32 years old really soon, but why are you asking me something like that right now?
Do you have someone you're going out with at the moment?
There's no one right now that I'm with.
It's been 2 years now since you broke up with that last boyfriend of yours, right? When are you going to go out and find yourself a new man?
I'm asking myself that same question every day, Mom.
Are you not trying to get married to someone here soon?
Well, I'm not trying that hard just yet.
Ugh, I can't believe that. In the past, everyone said that a woman is at her best until she reaches the age of 25, and after that, she begins to spoil.
That was in the past, right? Right now, nobody is saying something like that. That's not even something anyone would be agreeing with in this day and age.
You can stop it with whatever you're trying to get at there. I've been worrying about you so much these days that I'm not even able to get any sleep anymore.
Mom, right now people don't see marriage as the only thing that'll make them happy anymore. So please, stop trying to put that kind of pressure on me. Also, if I'm able to find the man of my dreams, then it won't matter when him and I get married.
But the problem is that you've still not gotten married and your life is already close to being halfway over with.
Well, you don't know that. Maybe tomorrow I'll find someone, and things will really turn out great for us.
You say things like that now, but in an instant you're going to be calling yourself an old woman. Right, how about I introduce you to one of my friend's sons for you?
What? You want to introduce me to someone? Something like that is still not needed.
He's a great man for you.
Really? And what kind of a person is he?
He has his own company, and he's a really calm person. He also has himself a condo, and he loves to go overseas every year for travel.
Can you tell me how old he is?
Well, I think he's in his 50s right now.
Wait, he's closer to being your age than he is mine, Mom. And that man has most likely already had one wife before, right?
I heard he had 2 other wives before you, but who cares? He has kids already, so he's not even going to ask for you to carry any kids for him.
I don't mind the fact that he's been through a few divorces now. But why would that man ever want to marry someone like me? I get that I'm in my 30s now, but even to me, he is still like an old man or something.
Let me tell you right now that most men your age aren't looking for people like you to marry.
Come on now. I'm sure not all men want to be marrying someone like me.
He has a lot of money already and will never let you live a day of your life worried about that. Also, if at some point in the future you find out you really don't like him, you guys can just get a divorce.
Do you really want me to get married that badly? Or do you only want me to be married for that man's money?
I just want you to have the joy of being married at least one time, whether it does or doesn't last. I just feel that if you never do it, it'll be a huge problem for you at some point.
If you'd rather I have a forced marriage to a man like him, I think there'd be more problems for me than just living life never getting married. Right now, I am very happy with the life I have. So no matter how worried you become about someone like me, I'm not going to get married to calm you down.
Even your little brother has gotten married before you. Are you not embarrassed by something like that?
Not at all. If that's something all the family is concerned about, then I'm sorry about that. But I don't find anything wrong with him having a partner first. So can you please stop worrying about me?
I'm worried that you won't have anyone to love you when you get to your later years in life.
Thank you for being worried about that. But to make sure that I'll always be cared for, I have money saved up to put me in a retirement home. And actually, you should be happy that at least your son was able to find someone to marry him. I mean, even his wife is being kind enough to stay over at your house with you and take care of you, right?
She hasn't come to our house to look after my needs or anything, though. She told me that she's only living here because she doesn't want to pay rent or for a house.
But even if that's her reason for it, it's not normal for most young couples to go live with their parents again, right?
Jay is my oldest son, so of course he'd be okay with living at his parents' house with them.
Like I said, thoughts like that aren't the normal way of thinking anymore, Mom. Hey, Mom. You never said something like that to his wife to make him and her come move back into your house, right?
Why would I ever say anything like that to her? All you young people always like to act as though the mother-in-law is trying to bully their son's wife.
Well, as long as you're not picking on her, that's all right. But be careful, okay? You always like to try and pry at my life a lot like that, right?
You are my daughter, so I can do that from time to time. I have no right talking to her like that when she's not my actual child.
I wonder about that. For the time being, I know you're the kind of person to say lots of awful things when they're not needed. So make sure you aren't doing anything to trouble Jay's wife, okay? I'll see you later, Mom. I have some plans that I need to attend to now.
Hold it right there. I'm not finished talking to you yet.
Then just send me what you want to say and I'll get back to you later about it. I promise you that.
Fran, do you think you can take some time off work in 2 months?
Why do you want me to take time off then?
We're taking a huge family trip to the Cayman Islands then.
To the Cayman Islands? Why do you want to go there now?
Jay said he'll be taking all of us there on him. That kid is really a one-of-a-kind son.
What? You're trying to tell me that Jay will be paying for everyone in the family to go? Are you sure about that?
What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about his money. Having his wife and him plus you and Dad and then me go will total 5 people, right? That'll cost him a whole bunch of money, I think.
It'll only be for 4 days when we go, all right?
Even with only staying for 4 days, that is a lot of money that he'll need to spend on all of us. And if they are living with you right now to try and save money, then they probably don't have a lot of money to be spending it like that.
I don't think that's the case with those two. I think that they've been saving up all that money to take us on this huge trip overseas. He really is the best son I could ever ask for.
Are you sure? Well, I think that'll be fine. The 4 of you can all go together.
But it's been a really long time since we've all been together for a family vacation, right?
In 2 months, I'm going to be going to my friend's wedding, so I'm already having to take some time off then. And I'll be off of work for at least a week helping her get ready for the event.
Is that right? You really never want to come out with your family, do you, Fran? You're even letting a chance like this go to waste?
Don't say things like that about me, please. Even if I did want to go, I wouldn't have Jay pay for me. I don't like making him pay for any of my things, especially something as expensive as that trip.
You won't even let him treat you to one single family trip? That's probably something you should change about yourself because it really does not make you into a cute woman. You should be so happy and kind about him offering you this trip for free.
All right. You're totally right.
Being open to other people's offers is something very important for women.
I don't need to hear something like that from you though, Mom.
Hey, if you're going to be going to a wedding soon, then please find yourself a man there to marry. I'm sure most of the people there will already be married or have someone they want to, but, well, there have to be some people there like your dad who didn't get married until later in their life, right?
You are totally right. I really hope that I'll find someone nice for myself there.
I really want you to try your best to find that man, please. You have everything I have, besides my brain, of course, so any man would want to have you. I think you're even prettier than Jay's wife is.
In her case, she should be cute to you, no matter what, right?
I don't think that's the case, though. Look, what can I say? When it comes to her, she's not the most healthy of women. Maybe you could say that she just isn't as light on her feet like us.
I think you are just a super judgmental person, and that's why you're picking on her look so much. Mom, it's not okay to judge people based on that aspect of them alone, okay?
I know that, I know. But look, I just wanted to point that out. Because there are other things to her as well. Ever since her and Jay started living with us, she's been a bit of a bother to your dad and I. She never seems to take a hint, and when she does chores, she is awful at them.
She grew up in a different family from ours. I'm sure she does things that are totally different from what we do. But if you really cannot stand having her in the house anymore, perhaps you should ask her to move out. It's not like you were the one asking for her to live with you, right?
But if I have her leave the house, then it'll look like I'm the one that lost to her, right?
Wait, why does it matter who's won or lost? This isn't a game. If you both aren't doing very well under the same roof, then you should consider yourself more of a loser than offering to live in separate houses.
But normally the daughter-in-law should be willing to do anything for her mother-in-law, right?
I understand what you're wanting to say there. And back in the day, that was the way things were between a mom and her daughter-in-law. But things these days and things of the past have changed quite significantly. In my case, if I were to get married right now, I wouldn't just start to listen to everything my husband's parents have to say to me. I'd be thankful and respect them as my in-laws, but it would take years before I became that close to them. And I'm sure the same thing goes for someone like Jay's wife.
I am not going to listen to you saying that when you're in your 30s now and still have not been married yet. I'm sorry, but I just can't with you and that talk today, all right?
I was just saying if that were the case, Mom.
Look here, this is why you don't have yourself a man wanting to marry you yet. Trying to teach people about things that not even you have experience in is not how you make friends.
Oh, is that so, Mom?
I think someone like her would be able to understand marriage far more than you. I mean, she is at least married to someone now. Unlike you.
Well, good for her then. Then you'd better get along with her instead of judging her all the time. I already told you this before, but people these days are going and living with their in-laws is a very rare thing, so be kind to her.
But she's the one that has it easy. Why do I have to be any more kind to her than I already am?
And I told you, if you cannot handle having her in the house with you, then you can ask her to move out.
Well, whatever then. I'm the one that actually has a daughter-in-law now, so I know more than you ever will about it. And I'm going to make sure that she is the best daughter-in-law ever in my household.
Stop saying things like that, please. You'd better not start going through with things like that, okay?
I will not pick on her or anything like you're saying. If she was a kid that I gave birth to that acted like that, then I sure would, but I can't when she's someone else's child. I can at least believe that she'll somewhat understand my position as her mother-in-law and the owner of the house.
And that's great. Well, have a great time on that family vacation when the time comes. And tell Jay and his wife to have a fun time on it too. Sasha, thank you for taking me to the station in your car today. You were much more easy to get a hold of than a taxi this time.
No worries. Were you able to make it in time for your train?
Yep, right on time. And that's all thanks to you. I'm sorry for having to come over there so suddenly like that.
No, I wanted to say I'm sorry for not having anything ready for you when you came to visit.
I was only coming over to get some pictures that I'll use at my friend's wedding, so you really didn't have to cater to me. I don't have a lot of time anyway, so being quick about it was the only thing I could do. Also, my parents and Jay are in the Cayman Islands right now, correct? I never realized you'd still be home. I just assumed nobody would be at the house, and that's why I showed up without calling in the first place. Why did you choose not to go on the trip with those three anyway? Do you have plans yourself right now?
Plans of my own, huh? Well, I'm the new wife in the family, so I have to stay home while they're away.
What? Because you're the new wife?
Right. Your mom told me that since I'm not part of the family, I should have to stay home and care for it while they're all gone. She told me that that's what your family expects of me, so I'm best to remember that for all the next trips the family will take.
What the hell?
Is that not what you all expect from me and your family? She told me that you think the same of me from your mom.
I have never said anything like that before in my life, Sasha. Actually, I'm so sorry about her. I think that my mom has said some things to you that shouldn't be said. I really am sorry about her.
No worries. I'm totally fine with this, so you don't have to worry about me. This is always how things have been here.
This is something she's been doing to you the whole time?
Yes.
What else is she doing or saying to you then?
Well, if I tell you, I feel like I'd be tattling on her for doing something wrong.
I'm sorry. Well, to start, that my brother's been watching this and not said anything to her about it?
Well, at first, Jay was saying some things to her for me, but it wasn't things that I'd be able to say to her personally. And when it comes to Jay, he's not the most powerful speaker when it comes to men.
I see. I'm starting to imagine what's all been going on here. Sasha, I'm sure you don't want to say anything about it, but can you please explain to me what's going on at home in a little more detail for me? We haven't really had time to talk about things involving you for a long time now, so this is our best chance. You might not feel as though you can trust me, but I'm asking you, sister to sister.
No, I think I misunderstood. I assumed you were the same as her and thought that I should be doing the exact same things she's asked of me to do as the new wife.
And I'm telling you right now that I don't agree at all with her on those things. We still have 3 more days until Mom and them get back home, right?
That's right.
I'm on the train right now, but when I get home, let's call about all of this. Do you think we can call for a bit in like 2 hours or so? You don't have any plans around then.
No, that time should be fine.
All right then. I will call you later then, Sasha.
Fran, something serious has happened. That woman, while I was out of the house, she ran away from us. And when we got back to the airport, Jay ran off somewhere as well. I'm not able to get a hold of either of them.
Ah, so you're back at the house now, Mom?
Why are you not getting all worked up over this like I am? Sasha has left the house without telling anyone. And she took all of her belongings with her as well.
I'm sure she didn't take everything with her, right? Just the things that her and Jay could carry, right?
Huh?
Listen here, Mom. I helped Sasha move out of your house.
Why? Why would you do something like that? What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'd like to ask that exact same thing about you. Mom, what the hell have you been doing to Sasha this whole time?
I haven't been doing anything to her, Fran.
You've been making her do all the chores in the house for you, and even then you still complain and make fun of her. And every time she questioned you, you told her the reason she needed to take all that crap was because she's the newest member to the family and the youngest wife. Right? And as for this trip to the Cayman Islands, you said that she'd be coming along with the rest of you, right? Well, from what she told me, Jay wasn't the one that offered to pay for this whole trip. Rather, you forced him to, and he gave in while crying about handling all his money to you.
It's not like I was forcing him to give me his money for the trip. Also, you told me before something like this. About how it takes time for a new woman to get used to her husband's parents.
And that's to do with the feelings of everyone in the family? When you told her to stay home because she's the new wife, you weren't showing her anything like you wanting her to be a part of the family. She said you told her she was anything but family to you. And you spent so much time on this trip, and not only did Jay have to pay for all of it, but some of Sasha's savings had to be used as well. You did that to them knowing that they both don't have a lot of money right now. Why did you take this trip with Jay's money, and why did you say to her that she couldn't come along?
If I really had to, I would have taken her with us. Now why are you getting so upset with me when I invited you along as well?
I'm not upset about myself not going. This is about how you are abusing your position as the mother of the house and are messing with her. I even heard that when this all started, Jade tried telling you to stop messing with his wife. But you told him he was being hysterical and that this was all totally okay as her mother-in-law.
I did not tell him that he was being hysterical.
When Jay was trying to warn you about being mean to Sasha, you started to pick on him and say that you were the one that took great care of him and that he shouldn't waste everything you've given him by protecting his wife. He cried for days because you said that to him and couldn't stand his own anymore.
Sometimes people will cry when they hear that. It's not my fault that I had to talk to him like that. Everyone's been trying to make me look like I'm the one being bad. Hell, Sasha's been acting and looking as though she's the victim of some kind of torture when I'm around.
And that's because she has been the number one victim to your torture. I know that you were the one that begged them to come and live with you and Dad as well. But when they did finally move in with you guys, you never once thanked her for doing so, instead only choosing to pick on her. What the hell have you been trying to do to her?
I was just warning her because she hasn't been able to do anything well enough for me.
And from everyone else's perspective, those warnings look a lot more like you bullying her. And those two are way too kind and gentle to fight back against you, and that's why you felt as though you're doing nothing wrong. I feel that you having everyone go to the Cayman Islands on Jay's money was all to make sure that they didn't have enough to move out, right? Sasha told me all about it. Her and Jay were looking at apartments together, and when you saw that, you flipped out on the two of them. You even went and smacked Jay for doing something like that?
They both have a perfectly good house they're living in, yet they wanted to look for a place to move out to?
And that's why you used up all of Jay's money on this trip, so that they had no way of leaving, right? Sasha had a really hard time telling me about this event and even cried when she finally let the details out. She really wanted to become closer to you like she was your real daughter and cried because she couldn't make that happen. It's a rarity to have someone as nice as her as my sister-in-law, as your daughter-in-law, and you're going to treat her like garbage?
I do feel bad for smacking Jay right in front of her. I was just a little bit flustered is all when I saw them both looking for new housing. I was sure that Sasha totally understood how I felt at that moment.
I really am so happy I helped them move out of your house. You are a horror to the both of them, and from now on, will not be allowed to go meet either of them.
Why do you think that'll happen to me?
We wouldn't have had to do anything like that if you would have just been verbally abusing them. But you raised your own hand to your son, and she might have been next on your list. If you ever go near either one of them again, or even talk to them, I'm going to cut ties to you. Do you understand that, Mom? Dad is already on his way out when it comes to his health. So you better not expect me to come take care of you if you continue to act out like that.
Pfft. You're the one that's going to end up old and alone with no help someday. You should be more worried about yourself than me, right?
Why are you turning on me now like that? You're the one that'll die before me, so you should be far more worried about yourself. After you die, I'll probably find myself a man to marry, all while you're 6 feet under. Also, even if I don't have someone in my old age, Sasha was very considerate of me. She said that if I ever find myself needing help, to ask her and she'd come take care of me. And she also told me she'd start letting me go out to see her kids when they have some. Or bring them over to my place.
Huh? Kids?
That's right. She's pregnant right now, as a matter of fact. But she's been keeping that one a secret from you this whole time.
She's going to have my grandbaby, yet she doesn't want me to meet them? Hold on a sec. If she's going to have a baby in a little bit, then things have changed completely. I need to start helping care for her so that she can have a safe and healthy childbirth. All right then. From now on, I'm going to be a bit more relaxed when it comes to Sasha.
It's too late now, Mom. The reason she kept all of that a secret from you should be more than enough proof that she doesn't want you around her anymore.
Fran, tell me where Jay and her have moved to.
I'm not telling you a thing, and if you start trying to search for them, I will really cut ties to you. Also, I've made sure to tell Dad that as well. I told him that if he tries to help you, you both will not be able to see her. When I told him that, he apologized to me and promised not to help you. He wants you to start thinking about what'll happen between the two of you.
What does he mean he wants me to start thinking about us?
Well, go ahead and ask your husband about that one. It's just the two of you over there now, right? Well, that's how things are right now, Mom. From now on, remember to never bother Jay and his family ever again.
Wait a second, Fran. Fran, what is going to happen to me? If you don't tell me where they are, I really will never be able to see them and their baby ever again.
You can think about that one for yourself, all right? But to be honest, you might just end up in the same situation I'm in right now. Depending on what Dad plans on doing, you might be going right back to being a single old woman again. After that, both my mom and Dad started to sleep and do things in separate rooms under the same roof. Normally, my dad would be very open with how he feels to my mom, but because of how she treated Sasha all the time, he has a lot of things to think about without her disturbing him. And when my dad finally talked to her again, her behavior really changed. She not only learned that Jay and Sasha would no longer let her see them, but that her husband wanted to start living in separate houses altogether, which led her to be a bit more mature about what was happening. I think that my dad would be better off divorcing her, but at the moment, my mom doesn't want that, hence her acting a lot more quietly when it comes to everything. And my dad has even told me that having her stay quiet while still being married to her is a lot more safer than divorcing her and letting her go wild. Also, I think that my dad believes that he deserves to be her husband for the rest of his life, considering he let a lot of this happen to Sasha and Jay while looking the other way. Both Jay and Sasha ended up blocking her number, and so recently she has been coming to me asking about what's been going on with the two of them. She doesn't even bother to torment me with all the questions about whether I'm getting married or not yet, and instead is totally focused on my brother and his wife. And although she does come to me quite often wanting to know things, there are a lot of things I choose to not tell her for their sake. And I do all this in the hopes that my mom will really learn her lesson after all the trauma she caused Sasha and Jay, just because she thought she could as the mother-in-law. After half a year passed, my brother and his wife had the most cutest baby ever together. He is so dang cute that I really can't wait to see what it'll look like in a few years. When it comes to Sasha, she is still so thankful for all the help I gave to her and continues to ask me if I have anything I need help with or want to talk about. Becoming this close to both Jay and Sasha has really made a difference in my life as well, and makes me feel a lot warmer inside than before when they were being trapped by my mom. I'm sure that at this moment, there isn't much else I can do for these two, but I'm going to try my very best to make sure they have a loving and happy future ahead of them with their baby boy.
Irene, are you there? I was just wondering what time you think you're going to be coming today. Please get back to me when you see this message.
I think I'm probably going to be out of the house for another 2 hours or so. Why do you ask, Nima? Is there something that you need from me?
Well, I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind picking up a couple of the boxes of that tea that I like so much. You know the one, right?
Yeah, I think I know what kind you're talking about. I can do that for you, no problem.
But I also just have one more question for you. Do you really need to have a job where you have to leave the house to go and do it? I mean, I think things would be much better off if you found a job that you could do while you were still at home, don't you think?
I know that you really want me to be at home more often, but I just can't concentrate on my work if I'm there all day. It's a lot easier for me to focus on my work and develop a good pace if I'm doing what I need to do outside of the house.
Well, I understand your feelings on the matter, but you need to stop being selfish about all this. I mean, when you're out of the house, the only way that I can get a hold of you is by texting you for every little thing that I need.
Well, I'm really sorry that texting me is such a difficult thing for you to do. But I think it's fair to say that I also do my best to help you with anything you need while I'm at home, and I run plenty of errands for you while I'm out too.
But it isn't the same. How am I supposed to know that you're really listening to what I'm trying to tell you if you aren't home? Oh, right, that actually reminds. I have more things that I needed to ask you about. Are you keeping in contact with my daughter Sarah at all?
Sarah? No, we don't actually chat all that often, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? You two don't keep in touch at all? I wonder what that girl could be up to.
Did something happen? Are you worried about her for some reason or something like that?
Well, it's just that she got married and then ran off to go live with her husband and his parents right away. But have you ever met in-laws? The mother especially seems like a really strict woman, and I just hope that Sarah isn't letting herself be bullied by her is all.
Oh, I see. Well, I understand why you would be nervous, but I think it'll be okay. After all, I moved in with you, all right, after Andrew and I got married.
Oh, well, let's not get carried away and pretend that you were anything like my little girl at all. I mean, you're clearly more crafty and willing to try to get out of the work that you should be doing. But my little Sarah isn't so conniving, and she might really be letting herself get taken advantage of. I just worry that she is going to let her mother-in-law boss her around and do whatever she tells her to.
Well, I do think Sarah is a really nice girl. She probably just wants to please those around her.
That's what I'm saying. But since she is like that, I think that she should have asked to not live with her husband's parents in the first place.
Well, those may be your feelings, but I guess until Sarah herself comes out and says something about not liking the situation, all we can do is watch and hope she's okay. But I am sure that she's gonna be just fine. She's a clever girl, and if she was in a bad spot, she would say something.
You really think so? You know, I think that you're being a little insensitive to my worries here.
I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I'm really not trying to be cold towards you or anything like that at all.
I just thought that you would be a bit more nervous like I am about Sarah since you're basically in the same shoes as her. You really are a selfish person, you know that? You really ought to think about other people before yourself. I just don't think that she is going to be able to always find excuses on how to avoid doing the things her mother-in-law asks her to do like you do.
Okay, well then, if you're so nervous about how your daughter is doing, why don't you go and try calling her yourself?
I tried asking her once, and she told me that she was just fine. I didn't want to press the matter anymore because I didn't want her to get upset with me.
Well, if Sarah is telling you that she's okay, then maybe you should just trust that she is. I really don't see what the big deal is. I get that you're upset because she's moved away, but this was always going to happen. And if she says she's okay, then I think that's that.
I just can't deal with you anymore. You really don't know anything at all, do you? I'm not trying to tell her what to do, but I just thought that I could come to you with my problems. Of course, I should have known that someone like you would never even try to understand or sympathize with a poor old lady like me. Even though I'm your mother-in-law, you're really going to act like it's such a chore having me to talk to about this?
I'm really, really sorry that you feel that way, Nima, but it seems like there's very little that I can do about that.
I mean, I might be able to stand you a bit more if you did something useful for once, like give me a grandchild. But you can't even do that for me. Irene, are you there? Just how long are you going to be staying out tonight, huh? I mean, do you have any idea at all what time it is right now? It's 7 p.m. and you're still not home. What's the matter with you?
Nima, look, I told you already that I was going to be a little late coming home tonight. I had a dinner that I had to go to as part of work, and that took a little time after I normally got off.
I know very well that you told me you were going to be a little late. But I didn't think that you were going to be out until the deep depths of the night like this.
Nima, it's literally only 7 at night right now. The sun has barely even set.
You mean it's already 7 at night and it's pitch black outside? I can't believe that a married woman like you is out roaming the streets at night like this. I mean, your husband is already home, so why aren't you? How dare you make my poor little Andrew make dinner all by himself?
I think that my husband is an adult who knows very well how to provide for himself, actually.
That isn't the point that I'm trying to get at right now. What I'm trying to say is that my poor son spends all day at work, and when he comes back home, you still expect him to do work around the house too. Don't you realize that that's what a good wife should be doing for her husband and not the other way around?
Nima, we have been over this again and again. I am also working, remember? I might not go to work in an office or anything like Andrew does, but I have my own business that I use to contribute to the family.
Well, you need to quit that job. It is obviously distracting you from your more important wifely duties. Besides, my son makes enough to take care of all of us. It's not like he even needs your income.
That isn't why I'm working. Even if Andrew does make enough money to care for us, the money I make goes into our retirement account. We're also putting a little aside for when we have kids, so that they can have something to look forward to when they're adults.
Oh, please. You're already in your 30s and you don't have a single kid. Are you really telling me that you're still planning on having some?
That's right. Andrew and I have talked about this, and we both agreed that we wanted children.
You're really serious about this, aren't you? Don't you realize that it's going to be impossible for you to have any kids of your own? Your body just won't be able to take it. It's obvious that the reason you feel the need to work so much is because you can't have any children.
Nima, I really appreciate your input into this, but this is something that Andrew and I have decided between ourselves, okay?
Now look, I understand that the two of you are probably going to want kids pretty soon here. But just how do you think you're going to raise any children if you can't even take care of the house right now? You also have a long way to go before your cooking is at the level that it should be to be a good wife. And you always wait such a long time before you clean up the house. Do you really think that you're going to be able to do all that it takes to raise a child when you can't take care of your own house?
Okay then, your point is very much taken, Nima. I will make sure to be more diligent about keeping the house clean from now on.
How dare you try and tell me that while you're out doing who knows what this late at night?
I'm not doing anything that my husband wouldn't approve of. I told you that I have to have dinner as part of a work thing, and that's all.
Irene, you still don't seem to understand. The most important job that a woman can do is making sure that matters in her house are always taken care of. If you can't do that first, then I don't think that you should be working in the first place. It's clear that you want to cling on to this job so that you can run away from your true responsibilities and leave my son to clean up after you. Isn't that right?
It really isn't right at all. I mean, you're not even close to being right.
I've had just about enough out of you. All you do is talk, but your actions reveal the kind of person that you truly are. Here, I thought having you come to live with us would make things easier on me, but all it's done is stress me out having to look after you.
Well, if you're really so against us living together, maybe we should just call this whole thing off and Andrew and I will go find our own place.
Wait, what? Are you kidding me? You didn't really just suggest that, did you?
I mean, you said it yourself. Having me live with you is just adding more stress into your life. If that's really the case, then I think it might be best if we just don't live with you at all.
I never, ever said that I wanted you to move out or that I wanted to stop living with you both. I'm just trying to teach you how to be a more responsible adult. But it's obvious that you want to move out, so why don't you just go if that's what you really want to do?
Are you sure about that, Nima?
Are you saying that you're really going to move out?
I'm saying that if this is the way things are gonna be, I might just have to have a chat with Andrew about this. Anyways, my client just showed up, so I have to go now.
Oh, sure. Your client, huh? Well, I hope you have a nice dinner while your husband and mother-in-law have to fend for themselves at home. But just know that you're never going to find another man as good as my son.
Hey, Irene, are you there? I'm really, really sorry to be bothering you at work, but I was just hoping that you had a moment to chat about something with me really quick.
Oh, hey Sarah. It's been a while since I've heard from you. Yeah, I can talk right now. How's it going? Is everything okay with you?
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk to you about something. Maybe I really just need someone to complain to now that I think about it. But I was hoping that we could keep this just between us and not tell my mom about it.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Whatever you want to tell me can just be our little secret, okay?
Thank you so much for understanding, and I'm sorry to be so furtive about this. But the fact of the matter is that, well, my mom can just be so annoying.
Well, I know that it can seem that way, but I'm sure that your mom is just the way she is because she's so worried about you. But is that all you wanted to talk about? Did something happen between the two of you that upset you or something?
The real truth is that I'm thinking of getting a divorce.
Wait, really? You want to get a divorce? What happened? Is everything all right?
I wouldn't say everything is all right, but it's not something I want to get done right away either. I keep thinking about it over and over again.
Did something happen between you and your husband to make you feel this way? I know that you've been living with him and his parents, but is that not going well?
It isn't going well at all. You might not believe me, but my mother-in-law is just a demanding bully, and she's always telling me what to do. I really just can't stand her anymore. Even just hearing her voice sends a chill up my spine now. But I really don't think that she likes me at all, and I just feel so judged and underappreciated. It just has much less to do with my husband and way more to do with his mother. But I really am thinking about ending this and just coming back home.
Oh, Sarah, I am so sorry that you're going through all of this. That must be really hard on you to be struggling with those thoughts.
It's really not fun, I'll say that much. I'm sorry to be dumping all of this on you like this, though. But the latest incident was that my mother-in-law got really mad at me just because I'm working. She told me that I needed to be focusing more on taking care of the house and worry less about money.
I know what it's like to be told that, don't worry. It really doesn't feel good at all. In fact, if I'm being honest, I can sympathize with you a lot because your mom does the same thing to me. I've been getting pretty fed up with her as well.
Wait, what? My mom is doing the exact same thing to you as well? I had no idea that you were going through any of this like I was.
Well, it's true. Just reading what you've typed has reminded me of the kind of situation that I'm in now, too. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to take away from your story, but I'm just starting to feel like I'm reaching my limits with your mom.
I see. Does that mean that you're thinking of divorcing Andrew over our mom, then? Doesn't he do anything to stand up for you and try and tell our mom to back off?
He doesn't do anything, really. But I don't blame him for that. Your mom is very strategic about when she chooses to say mean things to me. She almost never does in front of Andrew, so I never have any proof that I can point to.
I guess I never got that sense when I visited you all before as well.
It's okay, I'm not asking anyone to believe me flat out. But I do just wish that I could feel like I was good enough for your mother. Although at this rate, I think that my patience with this whole thing is going to give out before that ever happens.
I know exactly what you mean! It's so hard to talk about these things without feeling that you're the one who isn't doing enough. I mean, I bet just trying to explain this to my husband would really shock him, and then it would just lead to a big fight between everyone.
Exactly. And I really don't want to get in the way between you all and your mom or be the source of drama. I just want everyone to get along. That's what I was hoping would happen when I moved in.
Irene, I am so sorry that you've been having to go through this. And for basically a whole year at this point, right? But I am glad that I know I'm not alone in this anymore. I guess it's made me realize that I've been just thinking about myself in all of this.
Well, I feel the same way. I was so busy focusing on just dealing with your mom that I never stopped to think about how you might be doing. But it's just been so much to deal with lately, and I really am at my wit's end.
So then, do you have any idea what it is that you think you're going to do about my mom?
I really just don't think I can live with her any longer. I think I need to tell my husband and your mom about this, though.
Well, if you want, I would be more than happy to be there when you had that talk with them.
Are you sure about that? I really wouldn't want to get you in trouble with your own family or anything like that.
I actually think I just thought of something that could work.
Really? You have a plan? What are you thinking? I'd love to hear it.
I'll tell you all about it, but I just hope that you don't mind if I ask you for help for parts of it. Irene, I just wanted to talk to you about what we all discussed yesterday. Are you really going to be moving out of the house? Are you sure that that's what you want to do?
Yes, Nima, I'm very sure that this is going to be what is best for us all. And I've talked to Andrew about it as well, and he agrees with me. I just can't see the point of staying in this house any longer, and I think it's wearing all of us down.
But please, won't you rethink this decision of yours? I mean, both Andrew and Sarah said such mean things to me yesterday. I already apologized if I was being a bit strict about things with you, and I really didn't mean to make you feel like you were being bullied.
I realize that, but what you did was much deeper than advice being pushed too far. You were careful about what you said and when you said it. You made sure to never be mean to me in front of Andrew, and you did your best to leave me with no evidence of what you were doing.
I really didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. I swear it.
Even if that were true, the fact of the matter is that you said that living with me brings you nothing but stress, remember? So I think if that's the case, then me moving out is going to be what's best for us both.
But if you and Andrew both move out, then I'm going to be living all by myself.
Well, weren't you already living on your own before Andrew and I were married in the first place? Even Sarah and her husband were living on their own before they got married and moved in with his parents.
But that was back when I was so much younger than I am now. Haven't you seen the news? Don't you know how often it is that old people's noses get targeted for robbery? I've seen countless articles about it.
I'm sorry, but even if somebody did break in, I still wouldn't feel any obligation to protect you at all. If you're really that worried about home security, though, there are plenty of alarm services that you can have installed instead.
Irene, please, you have to rethink this. I really am sorry for the way that I acted towards you. I promise that I won't ever treat you that way again. You have to believe me, please.
Nima, you should know that there's something that Sarah asked me to do.
Sarah asked you to do something? What is it? Does it have anything to do with what we're talking about right now?
She wanted me to tell you this, so here goes. She wanted you to know that she is also being bullied by her own mother-in-law at her husband's house.
Wait, what? You mean my own daughter is being bullied by her mother-in-law?
That's right. It's actually gotten so bad for her that she's thinking of divorcing her husband just to get out of the situation.
I knew it. I knew this whole time that her mother-in-law was a no-good strict woman. You can just tell by looking at her face. Well, if that's the case, then I think that Sarah should get a divorce. I refuse to accept that this is happening to my daughter.
So, you think that Sarah should leave her husband for the way that her mother-in-law treats her?
Of course I do. That's the only logical move for her to make at this point.
But you do realize that you're doing the exact same thing to me, don't you? So, what do you think that should mean for Andrew and I wonder?
Well, I mean, I'm different. I didn't know that I was actually being so mean to you, you see. So, I don't think you can really compare the two situations.
I see. But I talked to Sarah about our situations and we realized that we actually had a lot in common.
So, then what are you saying? Are you trying to tell me that you're thinking about leaving Andrew too?
Actually, that's not all that I had to say to you. Sarah also wanted me to let you know that I guess for the past few days, her mother-in-law has stopped being so strict with her.
So then, her mother-in-law stopped bullying her. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. I guess that she talked to her husband and mother-in-law about what I was doing. She mentioned that I would be moving out because I couldn't stand living with you anymore. And since then, Sarah's mother-in-law has seemed to calm down. So I guess she wanted to keep Sarah in the house and agreed to quit being so mean to her.
So then, does this mean that Sarah actually isn't going to be getting divorced after all?
That's right. I mean, they've only been living together for something like 3 months. I think that Sarah is going to give her mother-in-law a second chance after this and see how things go.
I see. But then, if Sarah was able to give her mother-in-law a chance, then surely that must mean that you can give me a chance, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this is where Sarah and I's situation is different. I've already lived with you for a whole year, and I never once got the sense that you were going to stop without this intervention. But I've spent so long living like this that I just don't want to subject myself to you anymore.
Please, Irene, I'm so sorry about everything that I did. I didn't want things to go this way.
I'm afraid that it's far too late for you to be apologizing to me now. It's been too long, and you can't just whisk away all that you've done with words.
But you're always smiling and look so happy. How was I supposed to know that I was upsetting you?
I already explained to you that I was being very patient and magnanimous towards you. I thought that if I just stayed positive, that things would change and that you and I could have gotten along.
But what about now? Don't you want to try and get along with each other now? I don't care if you go out and work. I'll do more to take care of the house. Just please don't leave me.
I told you that it's too late. I'm not going to be changing my mind. Now, please, just accept that this is happening, Nima. A few weeks later, Andrew and I began looking for new apartments, and before long, we were moved out. Andrew was also very apologetic to me about not realizing what was going on sooner. He told me that he had noticed he would have suggested moving out himself. Either way, he understood that I just couldn't live there any longer. I told him that I really didn't want to say anything and that I didn't want to cause a fight within his family. He greatly appreciated my concern and told me that now it was his turn to take care of me. So, in the end, Nima ended up living all on her own. She began to text me incessantly, and I would just tell her that she did this to herself and that she wasn't helping her cause by texting me like this. As for Sarah, we're keeping in touch more often, having realized that we were going through the same ordeal. I heard from her, however, that things are going much better and that her mother-in-law is much kinder to her now. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey, Dan, are you there? I'm really sorry, but I completely forgot that we were having a retirement party for someone in my office. So, I just don't think that I'm going to be able to go over to your place today. Again, so sorry about this.
It's okay, I understand. This is kind of a work thing, and we agreed to put work first until we got married.
I know, but I really did want to try and be home just a bit earlier today. Would you mind making dinner, though? You remember me telling you about how I was really craving salmon, right?
Right, yeah, I remember you saying that. You're not exactly the most subtle person when it comes to hinting at me what you want to eat.
Well, maybe not, but you're just such a good chef, and I really do enjoy your cooking. You're never ever allowed to tell her this, but I think that you might even cook better than my mom.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that your mom is a pretty good chef, if I do say so myself.
I'm not trying to say that she's a bad chef or anything like that at all. I'm just saying that I think you are a cut above so many other people when it comes to what you make in the kitchen. At this point, I don't think I'll ever be able to enjoy anyone else's cooking again.
I see. So basically you're telling me you're only marrying me for my cooking skills then?
Well, you might be closer to the truth than you realize. But anyways, I can't believe that we're really going to get married in a week. It's just incredible. It feels like the date has just snuck up on us so quickly.
I know what you mean, but when you think about it, the timeline has been pretty quick. I mean, I only proposed to you about 3 months ago, but still, it does feel like so much has happened in that time.
I know exactly what you mean. But now that we're only a week away, I guess it's just starting to feel really real to me.
And to think that you and I are going to the courthouse tomorrow to have our civil service done. And then we can actually officially move in together. This really is starting to feel real. You're right.
And that's what I'm saying, right? I'll finally be able to move out of my parents' house and live with you. And that means that I finally won't have to listen to my parents telling me what to do all the time. Did you know that my mom still tells me to clean my room? But you're always just so kind and sweet, and you don't mind cleaning up for me when I visit your place.
So basically you're now saying that you're marrying me because I cook and clean. I guess I'm more of a catch than I realized.
And I guess it's my job to just stand there and look pretty, right?
I think you do much more than that, Casey. Although, since we're talking about this, I did see an article the other day talking about how so many divorces come from one partner putting all the work on the other.
Dan, stop it right there. We cannot be talking about divorce when we are a week away from getting married. But I guess maybe you're not so good at hunting things yourself. If you want me to do more around the house when I move in, I will.
Thank you. I do appreciate you saying that. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page before we live together.
I know, and I promise that I will try my best. But I think it might also take some time for me to adjust, you know?
That's okay. You know I'm a patient guy. And if there's anything you need me to show you how to do, I'm more than happy to.
Aw, thank you so much for that, Dan. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, we're having this retirement party at some restaurant, so I gotta go right now. I'll talk to you later, though.
Sounds good to me. Try not to drink too much and get home safe, okay?
No problem. If I'm out too late, I'll just go to my parents' house, though. So maybe save the salmon for another night. But I think I'll be okay since I'm really trying to watch my figure before we get married.
Well, you just take care of yourself, okay? And please text me when you get back home, even if it's really late, okay? I've just been hearing a lot of scary things on the news lately.
Well, I don't think I'm going to do any after party, as there is one. I should probably be back to my parents' house by midnight or something.
I know, but I'm still going to worry about you, you know. Would you want me to meet you at the restaurant and drive you home when you're done?
No. I could never ask you to do something like that for me. Besides, I'm sure that you're already tired from being at work all day, and my parents' house is the opposite direction from yours. I'll just get an Uber or something like that, and I'll be fine, I promise.
Well, okay then, if that's the way you want to do things. Just please do send me a message when you get back home.
I'll make sure and do that. And you try not to worry about so many things all the time. Because if I come home late, I am already going to be hearing it from my mom, so you don't have to scold me. Anyways, I'm going to get going now. Bye. Hey, Dan, are you there? I am so sorry for not getting back to you last night after I got home.
Do you have any idea how worried I was? What happened? Why didn't you message me? I thought you said you weren't going to be out that late. I stayed up half the night waiting for your message, Casey.
I know, and I really am sorry. I guess it has just been a while since I had that much to drink is all. Once I got home, I just got ready for bed and passed out right away.
Did you really have that much to drink at the party?
I mean, I had like 3 drinks or something like that. But I haven't been drinking at all on this diet that I'm on to fit into my wedding dress. So, I guess they all just hit me way more strongly than I thought they would have.
Well, geez. I mean, I know how much you like to drink and how hard you've been working on cutting back, but you really should have been more careful, don't you think?
Dan, I only had 3 drinks. I just didn't think that the little would get me so drunk. But I promise that I'll take more care from here on out.
Great. Well, we just have one more week until we're married, so please be careful, okay? Do you want me to come over and visit you?
No worry about doing that. I'll still make it over to your house today. But I think from tomorrow, I'm going to stop coming over to our house until we're married.
Oh, really? Why is that? Did something happen?
Well, after we're married, the 2 of us are going to move in together and be living with each other, right? I was just thinking this morning while my mom was making me breakfast that maybe things aren't so bad at home and that I want to enjoy this while I can.
Hey, I understand. It can't be easy getting this close to having to move out of your parents' house.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of big changes for me, I think. So, I just want to enjoy the time I have at home with my parents while I can.
I understand. After all, it's just like you said. Once we're married, we really are going to be living together. So, you enjoy the time you have living with your parents, okay?
Great. Thank you so much for understanding, Dan. Besides, it's not like they even live that far away from us, right?
Yeah, of course. It's not like you're never going to see them again or anything like that. But it's true that there are going to be some changes while you get used to living with me and not with them.
Yeah, you're right about that. I just hope that everything goes well for the 2 of us.
I'm sure it will. But it's understandable to be getting so emotional when we're close to getting married now.
I know. I feel like every little thing has been getting me so emotional lately, and I just don't even know what to do with myself.
I'm sorry. I know it's a really emotional time, and I didn't mean to upset you. It's just that, well, I thought I was going to get to see you a bit more before the wedding is all. Although I did go out and buy some salmon to cook for you for dinner tonight.
You did? You mean it? Oh, that's just perfect. Thank you so much. Well, don't worry. Now I'm definitely coming over tonight.
Hey, Casey, have you still not made it to the wedding yet? But your parents are here and we're all waiting for you. Where are you? Please get back to me when you see these messages. We're really worried about you.
Dan, are you there? I'm really, really sorry. It's all my fault that the wedding fell apart and we didn't even get married. And I just couldn't even stand to face you in person.
Casey, you know that I'm not mad at you. You were in an accident. I mean, you could have been killed. I'm just happy that you're still alive.
But I can't walk anymore. I'm going to have to live in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And my friend who was driving me around still hasn't even woken up. She was driving us to the wedding, and that's when the accident happened. This is all my fault.
But your leg's okay?
Yeah, everything else is just fine. I don't have any other injuries or anything like that. The doctors say that I'm stable, and there's no risk to my health or anything like that.
I see. Well, I guess that's good at least.
But do you think you'll be able to come and visit me at the hospital? Visiting hours are going to be until 8 tonight.
Casey, I'm really sorry, but I'm just too busy. Now that the wedding is canceled, I just have a lot of phone calls to make and people that I need to talk to. I mean, there were a lot of people who came all the way here just to see us get married, you know? So I just have to talk to them, thank them for coming, and explain what happened and all of that. Not to mention that I guess I should cancel the movers that we ordered as well.
This really is all my fault. I knew it. I'm sorry, Dan. This isn't what I wanted to happen.
You really don't need to apologize for anything. I mean, if anything, you're the biggest victim of this whole thing.
I know, but Well, I thought that we were going to be married by now. The accident was on the day we were supposed to have our civil ceremony, and now we're not going to have our real ceremony.
I know, but there's just really nothing to do about it now.
I'm so sorry that you have to do all this by yourself. I wish there was some way that I could help you in this state, but right now the only thing I want is to see you.
It's okay, I understand. And I really want to see you too.
Do you think you'll be able to come and see me tomorrow?
Yeah, that should be fine, Casey.
Thank you so much, Dan. I was really worried that you were going to leave me over this.
You mean because you weren't able to have our wedding how we planned it?
Yeah, and because I'm going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
Well, I guess that just goes to show that you never really know what can happen. One day you're healthy and fine, and then an accident like this happens and takes it all away. But I would never leave you just because you're going to be in a wheelchair. I hope you know that I'm not that kind of person.
Thank you so much, Dan. Just reading that message makes me feel better. Anyways, I'm sorry for reaching out to you while you're so busy. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Casey, are you there? I have to talk to you.
Dan, why have you been ignoring all my messages I've been sending you? You're making me really nervous. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that I haven't been able to make it over there to see you.
But why not? What's going on, Dan?
Well, the thing is that when you woke up from the accident, you said that you didn't want any visitors, right?
I know, but that was because I woke up in the hospital and I was just trying to piece together what happened. I guess I didn't want to feel like I was letting people down, so I didn't want to see them.
I know what you mean. I was really nervous and needed some time too, but I've come to a decision.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't think that we should get married. I just don't think I'm going to be able to live with you, and so I don't think that you and I should be getting married.
But why? I don't understand what happened. What made you change your mind?
Because I just know now that I'm never ever going to be able to be happy living with you, Casey.
But is this because I'm never going to be able to walk again?
No, it isn't because of that.
You're lying to me. I know that it's because of that. You think that I'm just going to be dead weight hanging around your neck for the rest of your life, don't you? All I asked was that you come and visit me in the hospital, and you just leave me like this? How could you do this to me? I thought that you were different. Dan, I thought I could trust you.
Well, I feel the exact same way. In fact, I'm glad this accident happened so that I found out the truth before our wedding.
Truth? What on earth are you talking about? Why would you even say something like that to me? Don't you realize that I'm going to be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of my life? How could you say that to me after all I've been through? Don't you think that I've suffered enough already?
I think that you brought all of this suffering on yourself.
So you're really going to try and tell me that this is all my fault then?
Well, you've been telling everyone that you were just on your way over to the wedding when you got into the accident, and that's all that happened, right? But the truth is just a little different, isn't it? You weren't on your way to the wedding. You were trying to run away with your secret lover. You were trying to drive as far away from our wedding as you could before you got hit by the car.
Dan, what are you talking about? You can't actually be serious about this, right?
But I suppose the man you were with still hasn't woken up yet, has he? Maybe you were hoping that he never would and that no one would figure this out.
Of course not. He's just an old coworker of mine, but of course I hope that he gets up. I mean, it was actually his retirement party that I was going to. It isn't like he's old or anything. He just did a lot for the company in the short time that he was here. But you don't actually think I'd cheat on you with him, do you? Or that I would try to run away from our own marriage just to be with him, right?
You told me that you were having a really special friend drive you over to the wedding, remember?
Of course I remember telling you that. And I wasn't lying to you about it either, I swear.
So, was this guy your special friend? The one that you were going to run away with? Is this what you meant by this?
I finally get it. I see what's going on here. You found out that I have a close male friend, and now you're trying to make me feel like I'm the bad guy here because you're jealous. You're just so horrible. I didn't think you were capable of being so cruel. I mean, what kind of way is this to treat someone who just found out they'll never be able to walk again?
And you really think that just because something happened to your legs that it excuses every other horrible thing you've done? Do you think that this makes you some kind of hero now that you're in a wheelchair for trying to run away with some other guy?
I can't believe this. I can't believe that you actually said that to me just now. Why are you attacking me when I'm the victim?
Why are you trying to make yourself out to be the victim here when you're not? If you're a victim of anything, you're a victim of your own horrible decisions. When I heard that you were in an accident, I was just terrified. I didn't care at all about the wedding.
But then, why are you putting me through this?
Because then I had proof that you were cheating on me. It was his coworker's parents, the one that you were cheating on me with. They came to me and gave me his journal.
His journal? But why would they give you something like that of his?
Because in it was written all the little details about your affair, the time that you had met up and where, not to mention your name written with a big heart around it.
Well, I mean, that's not my fault if this guy was secretly obsessed with me and I had no idea.
Well, that's the other thing. I actually called your work the day after the goodbye party. I asked if they had heard from you after the party. Except your coworker told me that there was no retirement party at all. They had no idea what you were talking about.
So you even called my work just to see if I was okay?
That's right. I called and I was so worried about you. I was broken up with grief until I found out that you were never faithful to me to begin with. You know, his parents even showed me his phone. So if you still think you can try and trick me by saying that he's just obsessed with you, don't bother. There was so many texts between you and him. The plan to run away was spelled out so clearly that it didn't leave a doubt in my mind at all. Including the part where you told this guy that you didn't even want to marry me. You said that if you were going to get out of this, that you'd have no choice but to run away with him.
Please, you don't understand. It isn't what it looks like, I swear to you.
Yeah, I'm sure that nothing about you was quite what I thought it was actually. But at least you both got what was coming to you with this accident.
Please, Dan. You have to know that you've always been the only man for me. I'm so sorry about this. I promise to never stab you in the back again. Please, you have to know that you're the only person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, right?
And to think that we were almost married. Now I can call this off and never have to deal with you again. After that, Chris, the man that Casey was seeing behind my back, woke up. His parents told him about how disappointed they were in him, but since he was in the hospital, it was clear that neither of them was going to be able to run away from this. I also sued Casey for her affair and for ruining our engagement. Her and Chris. The payout was large, but it wasn't enough to cover the hurt and the pain that I had in my heart from such betrayal. In the end, news about what Casey and Chris did spread around their town and their work, and they both moved away as soon as they could to avoid embarrassment. I haven't heard from Casey since, but I wonder how she's getting used to her new life in a wheelchair. As for me, I took the money that I got from the lawsuit and decided to move away myself. I couldn't stand living in the same town where so much betrayal took place. I just felt like I needed a new start in life. I put in a transfer request at work, and when it came through, I packed up my things and set out to start my new life in a new place. I'm sure that I'll go through a lot of hardships there as well, but at least it will be on my own terms since I'll never let anyone lie to me like that again.
Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever